friends, I just wanted to pop on and quickly say I hope you enjoy this video. Today we'll be doing an art space tour. It's a little bit different, and I also wanted to let you know that I have changed my hair colour and absolutely love it. And if you enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you. So we come in, and here is my L-shaped desk, which I find so versatile and useful, and my little cart down there, which we will go through. So on the first tier of my cart, I have my acrylic paints in a variety of brands and colours, because I love colour. Some matte medium, some black, and some white of the chroma quill. Measuring tape, because I paint canvas, rolled canvas all the time, and it's very handy for that. A variety of paintbrushes that I only strictly use for watercolour and acrylic. So pretty. Electric sharpener. Some more watercolours, that's very cool. Some sprinkle watercolours. Some pan pastels. I only have one and I love it. My Jane Davenport watercolours and my personal made watercolours from a variety of brands. Some white pens and some black pens on my preference, and some graphite pencil. Some aqua brushes, my own handmade paint palette, which is not that handy but it's pretty. Colour wheel, palette knives and pens, because they're so handy for writing quotes and things like that. A sharpener, and a variety of other little things like rubbers tucked away in the grooves of these. I love having this on my cart because you can just wheel it off to the lounge room or wherever you're doing your art in the day, and it is just so handy for some quick, easy art practices. So that's the first tier. Let's move on to the second tier. Is very simple, with just a few notebooks, my glasses case, some baby wipes for cleaning up messy spills, and my alcohol markers, which I don't really use that much. I will not be showing you the third tier because that is a mess, and mainly my school books, so I'm sure you don't want to see it. Quickly just brief that I have a lot of collage, paper, every kind of thing in here, so I'm sure you probably don't want to see the rest, so let's move on to the next thing. I keep my tripod here for filming videos, obviously. My solvents and my fixatives there, just for on the use. Water pot for water, and a water pot, well, not really a water pot, more of like an oils pot using like turps and things like that. And then keep some artwork displayed on my mermaids, unicorns, glitters and rainbows sign. I always keep a bench mat because that would all be on my desk and my white desk would be ruined, which I do not want. I always keep my Prismacolor pencils there as well because I just use them so often, and instead of throwing them on a shelf, I just keep them there. Let's move on. I have my decorative paint palette on the wall. I do not use that anymore. On this side of my desk space, I have my tabletop easel, a paint palette that I am currently using, another artwork, and I have my inks and my dryer there. I also have any painting fabrics that I need to work with there, and sitting on top of this, I have my pencils, some alcohol markers, some white pens. Of course that had to happen. Let's move on. My erasers and some washi tape. On the wall over here, I have a whiteboard to write down any notes. At the moment, I'm storing a paint palette because it's so pretty, and I kind of don't want to throw it. So that is why it's there. Let's move on to the shelf. On this top shelf in the corner, I have mermaid markers, my homemade markers in the Jane Davenport inks, some acrylic like pens and markers, some pouring, my favourite colours in pouring acrylic, acrylic, a brayer, some avocado ink, which is very cool, and that's on the top layer. The next layer is all my mediums, inks, bookbinding, lino cutting kind of things, even though I don't really use lino cutting that much. The next space are my Tombow markers, my paint markers, and any little random things I decided to put there. This lovely shelf, I have my watercolours at the bottom, as well as my Caran d'Ache watercolour sticks. Any gessos and ink pads that I use, and some oil sticks. On the next shelf I have alcohol inks of any kind, acrylic, etc. Some cheap acrylic paint, some charcoal, and then this gorgeous book that I painted that I just love to look at any given time. Next shelf I have all my cheap acrylics that I do use quite often, but not enough to keep on my desk. My next shelf is anything that I do not use very often, such as alcohol markers, stamps, pastels, watercolour tubes, as well as watercolours that are out. Okay, moving on, I have my 1K sign up there. Anyway, this is my inspiration board, which I absolutely adore and probably is one of my favourite most parts in my art space. So I have beautiful art mandalas here, zooming out a bit, showing all the beautiful inspiration. So gorgeous. I have an artwork behind here by a very beautiful artist called Donna, and very lucky to win some of her work. And that's mine. A few of them are mine because I don't know where to put them in my art space. I have some Pitt pens in this cool rainbow vase, personal icons, Posca pens, and of course that subscribe thing you see on my Instagram. I mean, on my YouTube. Anyway, moving on to the next shelf, I have some oil stick thingy bobs. It's very hard to explain. Some acrylics that I don't use very often, and some more acrylics. Moving on to the next shelf, up here I have gouache in that pink container, oil, all my books that I have here, art journals, my handmade pouring, because I love matte things, so I made my own pouring mediums, my brushes for oil painting, my brushes that I kind of use for anything that's a bit harsh on brushes, and my sponges. I also have some things like binding ribbon and things like that behind there. So this is a generalization of my art space. Obviously you can see what fell down over there before, but I'm very happy with it and I love it. Thank you so... What I actually meant to say was thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it, and if you want to follow me on any other platform, look in the description below and I'll put it there. Thank you.